Well, good morning, guys, and welcome back to Manor Lords. So we recently started a new series. One episode has been released so far. Unfortunately, I lost my save game data, so today we will be starting from scratch. Before we head into the game, I just quickly want to touch on the version that we're playing. This is the beta, the latest version 0.8.086, as you can see on the bottom of the screen here. And then just regarding what the update is, a few people have asked me, what is this update all about? What has changed? So, not much really. Focusing on stability was the major thing in this update. So in other words, villager AI is more realistic. Unemployed characters help with tasks, and production systems now run smoother. With fixes to livestock trades, farm production and logistics, pathfinding and collision issues are also reduced, making character movement much more reliable, though no major new content was added in this patch. So yeah, it's basically just about stability and making the game a bit more realistic. Of course, also logistics. That is basically the most important thing in this game anyway. So glad they are working on a few of those things. Still a few updates to come as well. So without any further ado, let's head into a new game. I think the character that we'll choose for today will be Earhart. I'm going to leave the name as is. I've seen that you can save your coat of arms just to use it again and again in a new game, because I always use the same. I go for this background with the colors being black and red, and then I like this kind of Crusader cross. So let's go ahead and save the coat of arms, and we'll be using that in the next one. Now for the scenario templates, I like a duel. That is basically my favorite scenario to play. Reason being, you don't have to focus on the conflict that much. Like if you go for Fractured Realm, you get 3 AI opponents. I like to only have 1. That makes it a bit less aggressive, and then you can also focus on the city building as well as some war and conflict. So that's what we're going to do today. And then I'm going to go... The previous one we did was Lake Lem, and I believed we started right there. But seeing that I've already done an episode on that, I think we should change it around a bit. Let's go for Winding River. And then I'm going to place myself right in the corner of this middle map, which then means I've got a river on both sides. And we'll see how that goes for us. As for the rest of the settings, I'm just going to leave it as default. And then let's jump into things. Alright guys, so here we are, and welcome to our little humble settlement right here on the banks of the river. As you can see, once again our settlers are down there in their camp, ready to get started, so let's get them to work. And as you can see, we've got a new message. Build up your town, your manor, and when ready, press claims towards regions owned by your opponents. Once a claim has been pressed, be ready for battle. I'll unite these lands under my rule. Alright, so first things first, let's zoom out a bit and see what we are working with. Okay, so we've got a rich iron deposit over there. That's actually quite good. And then on this side of the map, some clay. So only 1 rich resource. I wonder if that shoal of fish is on our side of the map or on this side of the map. It does seem to be in this region on this side. And that might mean that seeing that we only have 1 rich resource, let's go ahead and look at the farmland. Usually you can then get really good fertility. As you can see, we do have very good fertility, and there's some space on this side to build some of our fields. So we'll be focusing on agriculture in this specific scenario, and definitely iron is also a good resource to have. And then obviously, of course, we will have to start with the most important structure, which will be a logging camp. Let's just see. I think I'm going to place it right here. Zoom in a bit. Yeah, so I'm going to place it right there. It's not too far from the road. That will be our main access point from the King's Road as well. So I'm going to go ahead and place... Let's go closer. I've got a tendency to play zoomed out on the map, which is stupid actually. So forgive me for that. That road there, connected to the logging camp. And then I also want to go ahead and get this hitching post moved over closer to our logging camp right there. And I'm also going to immediately build our second hitching post. Very important. It's all about getting these resources spread out through your city as quickly as possible. So we've got our second hitching post down there, and then we'll order ourselves another ox as soon as we possibly can. Okay, so we've got a few rubblestone over there as well. I'm going to extend our road. Just going to go straight with it. Right to that other part of the city. And then, of course, we also need to get some houses built. How are we for timber? We've got 6 timber at the moment. So that means 3 plots. Let's go ahead and see if we can build 3 burgage plots with extensions. Just want to bring the road in this way first. And then we'll get started on these burgage plots. Place them down right there. So let's just extend it a bit more. And then obviously I want to also make it as big as possible for vegetable gardens. Let's go ahead and see. There we go. So that'll allow us to have 6 families in our settlement have a place to live. Seeing that we start with 5, I reckon that's pretty good. So then maybe even in the first month we'll be able to have a new family move into the settlement and grow that workforce. Okay, so this also looks pretty good. We've got access to water. I'm going to place the well. Okay, once I've got another timber in, 1 timber that I need for this well, I'm going to place it right in the corner there, easily accessible to our burgage plots. So there we go, we've got our second hitching post up, and I'm immediately ordering another ox. And then once they finish with construction of our logging camp, we'll get to harvesting some timber. There we go. I'm going to put 2 families on the logging camp for now. And going into the advanced tab, I reckon most of you already know this. In the advanced tab on your logging camp, you can set your work area wherever you want them to log. But I'm not going to set it for now. We've got trees all around, so I'm going to be leaving it so that they can decide for themselves. The second very important thing to focus on will be food as soon as possible. So we've got some fish over here. We'll be building a fisherman's hut.
Another beam coming up. Let's straighten this up.
Alright guys, so as you can see here, construction of our third burgage plot is now coming to a close. Let's go ahead and see. Okay, timber hasn't really started coming in yet. What I want to do is just wait so that we can build that fisherman's hut at least and start working on food, because otherwise we will be starving. That won't be good. Let's see what we need for that. 2 timber, so I presume we'll get to that rather quickly. Okay, so now with the second log or timber available, we will start the construction of our fisherman's hut. Gonna put it right at that intersection and then connect it with a road. And then also I'm going to do the construction of the well, as I've said. Or maybe, you know what? I withdraw that. I'm going to build a granary and a storehouse. Very important, seeing the rain is starting to come down, so that we can get all of these supplies stored. So the granary and the storehouse I'm going to put rather close to our burgage plots. And then also, let's just see, I wonder if I place that there. Okay, I'll do the storehouse. Let's think. I want to build a well, obviously. So I just want to leave enough space for that. Let's just hold off on the storehouse for now and place the well first. And then I think I want to demolish this building just so that we can make use of all the space that we have. So we'll start with the storehouse right next to the well, and then the granary will fit in perfect right next to that. Okay, so with construction on our fisherman's hut now complete, I want to place, let's do 2 families. I want to get in as much food as quickly as possible. We've got a lot of fish there at the moment, so we just want to go to the advanced tab and make sure they don't fish more than about half of the available fish. And that'll be around, let's say around 80 will be fine for now. And then they can start gathering some food for us. Let's see how we look for timber. We've got 3 timber at the moment. And then I want to focus, of course, on the second most important timber industry. That'll be the saw pit. I think I'm going to place the saw pit right across from the logging camp. And then we will also do the woodcutter's lodge. Let's leave it a gap there so we can just make a nice road going through the center here. Okay, so while we wait for them to continue all of these projects, we also need to remember to do the extensions to our burgage plots. That also costs about 2 timber. So we need to wait for some timber to come in again. Unfortunately, we already missed the first month. So we'll have to move quickly on getting the rest of these extensions constructed so that our villages has a place to live and that we can welcome new settlers into our city. Okay, so now that we've got our storehouse and our granary constructed, I'm going to remove 1 family from the fisherman's hut just for now and switch them between the granary and the storehouse, because my main focus now is just to move all of these supplies inside before they spoil due to the weather. Actually, you know what, for the woodcutter's lodge as well, they don't have to continue building that immediately. So now we have no unassigned families, but I just want to move everything into the storage spaces, and then we'll continue with the building projects and the fishing. So let's get them going on that. Okay, so it seems like everything has been moved inside. Now we will unassign these families again. And then continue with our gathering of food. Let's see how we look for food at the moment. 3 months and fuel 5 months. So we're still pretty good on the fuel situation. I reckon we won't be using much of it anyway at this stage. But for the food, it's very important. We don't have another food source available close by. Let's go ahead and move around the map a bit. Okay, so we've got mushrooms very far away, and it's also not even a lot of mushrooms. So we'll need to start focusing on the farming aspect of this as soon as we possibly can. For now, we need to make sure that all of our families have got a place to stay, and that there's room for new families to move in as well. Let's have a look at that. 4 timber available. So I'm gonna build, I want to build some more burgage plots, because you'll see we'll have space for 1 additional family to move in. Also, before the winter comes, I don't want to rush expanding our village too much, and then we don't have enough food to go around, because the villagers will starve, and that's not good. So let's look at this message that we have. Strong militia is paramount to the survival of any settlement. Luckily, a shipment of weapons has just arrived. I believe you all know this message. Just means that we can now go ahead and form our first militia. You'll see that you get 20 spears and 20 large shields for the start. And we will go ahead and form that militia. At the moment, we only have 10 men of fighting age, but it's better than nothing. We'll also have a look at, let's zoom out a lot more and see. We've got 1 bandit camp over there, which we will take as soon as winter comes around and there's not a lot of work left to be done. Then we'll immediately start focusing on those bandit camps. That is a good influx of coin into our settlement as well. And I'm also immediately going to build yet another hitching post. Let's make 2 of them there so that we can get those ox into our city. Okay, so they are just building the last extension. There we go. New level reached. So we have room for 1 more family to move in. I reckon that'll be pretty soon. But what we mustn't forget is to start with our vegetable gardens. See that we need 2 planks for that. So we will also be adding a family to the saw pit. Once it's finished with construction, I'll be removing 1 of them from the logging camp over here. And then add them to the saw pit so that we can get started on those vegetable gardens. Okay, so there we go. Saw pit is done. And now we've got a guy making planks for us as well. Let's go into the advanced tab. I want to limit the timber reserve to 10. So they won't start manufacturing planks if we don't have 10 timber. We are almost there. So that we've got available resources to continue building. What I want to do as well is I'm going to go ahead and start construction, I believe, on about 3 more of these burgage plots. These ones, I want to make them larger so that we have space available for vegetables. That looks pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and get that done. I won't be building the extensions immediately so that we don't run out of resources too quickly. Let's go ahead and see. Okay, so we need to move the food to the granary, which we will be doing now that we've got an additional family that moved in. We are now in a total of 6 families, so 1 of them can work the granary. That's obviously to get all these fishes transported to our granary and back. And then we also need to focus on a marketplace. I want to make the marketplace right across from the well over here, so it's quite central then to our city. Let's go ahead and do that. And I just want to make sure that it shouldn't be too big, but I want it at least big enough. Okay, that is too big. There we go. No, that'll definitely be big enough for a while. And then let's look at our fuel consumption. Okay, we've got fuel for 3 months. That is obviously not great. We want to make sure that we gather some firewood before the winter months. So I believe this 1 family will be enough to take care of the remaining fish. We can't fish about more than about halfway anyway. So that'll be fine. We'll add a family right there to the woodcutter's lodge. And that means our basic necessities have been taken care of. I hope the fish is enough to last us through the winter. 7 months of food at the moment. So we'll probably be able to make it maybe just barely. Also want to get someone into the storehouse now to start collecting this firewood and the planks. And then let's just see if we can start the construction. I'm going to start on the bigger side with vegetable gardens, and then we will see what the cost is for one of those. I don't think I'll have enough funds, so that means that I'll probably have to take care of those bandits sooner than I thought. I think we can go ahead and build it on this side as well. I'm not really going to be focusing on chickens in this game. I've heard recently that it's much better to just build animal pens and then get pork in, because they do provide a lot of meat, much more than chickens would provide, and much more than the chickens would provide meat and eggs. So we'll be focusing on vegetables at first, and then let's have a look at what this will cost us. So at least there is enough money for some beetroot, and we might be able to get a few harvests in, or at least one harvest before winter time. So we'll get started on that as well. And then you can see we've got another family available. Take a look at the fish. So we've already reached our limit of 80. That's what I set it to. And then for fuel, we need quite a bit more fuel. But luckily these guys work pretty fast, so I think they'll catch up. There's two months of fuel worth at the moment in storage, but they'll catch up pretty soon. So I'll be adding another family to the logging camp just for now, so that we can get the timber going as quickly as possible. And then also we need to start building this iron mine. I think we should actually do that as quickly as possible. Do that and a trading post, and then we can make some money. So let's go ahead and see in the industry. No, I think it's over here. There we go. We're gonna start building our iron mine right over there and then connect it to our road. I know I'm building quite gritty at the moment, everything quite square, which I don't really want to do, but it's efficient for space. So let's do it like this. I think that actually looks pretty good. Alright guys, so now that we've got our iron mine constructed, I'll be adding 2 families to that. We have no unassigned families left at the moment, but that's fine because we're not really building anything. That also reminds me that I wanted to build a few more burgage plots, for the main reason being we only have 17 guys in our military or spear militia at the moment. I want to get that to 20 at least, so that we use all the spears and shields that we have, so that we can take on that bandit camp. So I think what I want to do is just build additional burgage plots, and of course I'll get some unassigned families, or rather just one unassigned family then. What I want to do now is build about 3 more burgage plots, but I don't need to make them so big. Let's go ahead and make that a bit smaller. That seems fine for me. And then we will be doing pigs in these 3 burgage plots as well, so that's an additional source of protein, some meat. And then I'm going to remove this family from the logging camp right there. You can already see. Okay, I wanted to say that our fuel has gone up, but it seems like I am mistaken. Where are they? Okay, so we only got 1 guy chopping wood. That's probably why. 2 of them are working in the beetroot garden that we've got going here. And after that they will be helping with the fuel issue. Luckily we can also chop firewood throughout the year, so we are not limited like with the food resources. We're not limited to the season. Okay, so we've definitely got 0 coin at the moment in our regional wealth there, which isn't good. Pretty soon I will be building a stone gatherer camp, so that we can just pick up all of these stones as well, and then that'll create some more space for us to be able to build and work. I'm going to go ahead and start the construction of our trading post as well. There we go, we need 4 timber for that. I'll be placing that right on the King's Road there. And then maybe we can start trading some planks for a start. Something that we can export. We'll definitely look at the prices between the iron ore and the planks. But I know that if we can turn that iron ore into something more profitable, that'll be better for trade. So let's just look at what we need here. First of all, we will need a bloomery. Let's build the entire iron industry right here. And then the smithy will build across the road. So in other words, the guy from the bloomery will take iron ore, turn it into iron slabs, and then the smithy over here will turn that into tools, which we can then trade at our trading post for. I think it's quite a good amount. We'll just, once it's done building, we'll look at those amounts and see what we can get. Okay, perfect. So our trading post has now been done. Construction on it has been completed. So let's go ahead and look at our trade here. For tools, you get about 3, which is your export price. It's not, and it's a minor trade as well. So you don't need necessarily to get a trade route for that. And then for planks we only get 1, but I mean it's better than nothing. Another thing that we'll definitely look into will be a charcoal kiln, because those I believe goes for around $2 a pop. Now let's get that constructed. And we'll get someone in the trading post, and we'll go ahead and say that we want to export planks, and let's leave 20 planks in the surplus there. And then we'll also, I won't start with the export on the tools until we have established the manufacturing thereof, at least. Let's go ahead and look at this. Yeah, so you get about $2 for charcoal, but the firewood is a bit of an issue here. So now that I've got an extra guy, let's go ahead and put another family on the woodcutter's lodge there, and then make sure that we get some fuel in. Only have 4 months of food available. You see, that's a bit of an issue because our population is continuously growing and we don't have that much to offer. That's a bit bad because I don't want to travel all the way down for the mushrooms. I also presume we could have built a farm a bit earlier at least, but for that you need a lot of people to work it. So we'll see what we can do. Maybe I should take the level down of the fish, and then next year we will just not depend on it so much. So we'll move the level down to 40. It's at least some more fish that we can get into our settlement. And then let's see where that bandit camp's located, all the way over there. Something that I've never built in this game before that I want to try now is a bridge, and I'm not really sure how that dynamic works. Okay, so you need planks for it. 45 planks is what you need, and we definitely need to create a crossing close to the center of our village. So I'm actually going to say we need 50 planks in surplus before we trade anything away. Let's just make sure of that again. I believe it was 40 or 45. Now there we go, 45. So we'll start construction on that. Resources stolen by the nearby bandits. You see, that's not good. We need to take care of them as soon as possible. Let's go ahead and see. So we've got our 20 guys. I'm going to do that immediately. Let's go ahead and rally them over there. It's quite a long march, but never mind. Just need to make sure that they walk and not run, because we do not want to fatigue them before they even get to where they are going. Of course, rallying your troops does take a lot away from your workforce, so that's not ideal. But we need to get some coin into our settlement. That's the most important thing, and then stop these guys from stealing all our resources as well. And of course, now with the rain coming down, if you hover over your militia group over there at the bottom, you'll see some of the information. Their morale is quite good. In fact, they were just, that's what I wanted to show you, and now it's missing. If you are wet, if they march in the rain, they do lose some efficiency, or effectiveness is what I would like to say rather. Now everything looks good, but you'll see if you're in your home region, plus 90% on the morale as well. We won't be fighting in our home region. I don't think so. It'll take. We'll need to get a bit closer in order for these bandits to spot us. So yeah, I think we'll march the troops to somewhere around here. And we just want to make sure that we are not in a wooded area, because surrounded by trees also causes a reduction in your fighting strength. Alright, there we go. So they have spotted us. What I want to do is set them up in a row of 2. Right there. Okay, let's get this done a bit closer, so that we can ready ourselves for this engagement. So you can make a shield wall. I don't know if it really has an effect, because I've heard that if you say stand your ground, your defense is doubled, but your attack frequency is halved. So they will be charging. And if you stand your ground until they basically reach you, and then set it to push forward, that is a good strategy of engagement. That's what I've heard. Don't know if it's true, but we'll see. You can see that the AI opponents are moving around. They're trying to like flank you. That's also something new that I've seen. And obviously if you fight downhill, it's better for you, for your guys' stamina. Better than fighting uphill. If you got the high ground, I believe that's what they call it. But this is rather flat, so I don't believe we'll be seeing anything of that. And there you go, we have broken them. We haven't lost anyone, which is also great. And now we can go and get this spoils for ourselves. And I will have them run now by double clicking. And we need to hurry up and get back. It is almost September. And then, yeah, we need to make sure that we've got enough food for the winter months. It's going to be a bit of a challenge now. It's already September, so it might be a bit of a problem, but we'll see what we can manage. Right, there we go. So now we can decide if we want to send it to the town or the treasury. I'm definitely going to be sending it to our town. Only 88 coin. It's not really enough to make a large impact. But nevertheless, it'll help at least. So we'll get these guys to come back this way. And then we can go ahead and perhaps purchase ourselves some additional vegetables. We're starting on this side because it is going to be less expensive. Let's see. 14 weeks, 18 weeks, and 10 weeks to grow. So I think we will be going with... We've already got a big beetroot garden over there. But they don't take long to grow, and we don't have a lot of time before winter. So I think I'll be going with beetroot again. And now we only have 36 coin available again, so wonder... Now this is a tricky one because I don't really know the correct answer. I can either purchase ourselves another ox. As you can see at the moment, they're not doing much anyway, so maybe that's my answer. Yeah, it seems like they're just hovering around, but that's because my troops are out of town, so not a lot of work is being done. But I still believe we're small enough so that we can get by with two oxen there. I'm gonna go ahead and add some more carrots as well. Hopefully that'll help us before winter comes. We get some more food in. You see they're already harvesting. I believe we might be able to overcome this. Alright guys, so our victorious troops, our little spear militia, is returning from a successful endeavor. And they are crossing our newly constructed bridge over here. So hopefully now we can get started on doing some final work and preparation for the winter months. And I think that this is where I'm going to leave this episode. I'll make sure to save this specific episode and that we don't lose it again. And we'll continue this in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy the content and of course the amazing visuals of this game as much as I do, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, leave me a comment, and we'll pick this up in the next video. Cheers.